Yes. Top of the day, beautiful people. Running a few minutes behind. All right, y'all. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. It is June the 3rd, 2022. Day 125 of year 4, reading through the books of the law and the prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count. Day 1143. Today we're picking up in OAHSPE on page 160 in the book of Patty. And then we're going to hop on over to the meditation book on page 171. And we're going to pick up with meditation technique number 4. All right, beautiful people. So, Father, we thank you for another day to be here searching for you, searching for truth in all that we do. Hallelujah. Lavon, blessings. Francis, shalom. Belinda Brown, Grand Rising. Jen, Grand Rising. All right, y'all. We paused at chapter 6 in the book of Patty on page 160. All right, so let's get going. Patty said, "The voice of Jehovah cometh to me, saying, My son, appoint thou an assistant, chief to sit on thy throne, and go thou around about atmosphere, taking surveyors and inspectors with thee. For thou shalt see with thine own eyes the condition of thousands of millions of spirits in Hada." Patty said, "In Jehovah's name, I announce Athrava, my assistant, God of Monroe." There was great rejoicing in the council at this. Then came Athrava forward and ascended Jehovah's throne and sat on the right hand of Patty. Etherian lights fell upon the place from every side, and Patty gathered from the elements and made a crown for Athrava and crowned him. Officers and workmen were sent to build a conveyance for Patty and for such attendants as he might take with him. So the next day, Patty chose his companions, 30,000, making Verathragna speaker, and he and they departed for their inspection of Hada and the earth. Uncle JB. Shalom. Mom, shalom. His ship was built without lights or curtains so that they might travel unobserved. First, he inspected the plateau of Horati, which prior to this had never been inhabited, and he found its distance from the earth was equal to 10 diameters of the earth, and its east and west and north and south diameters correspond in size to what the earth would be were it that volume. That is to say, the superficie of the plateau was 528,000 miles in every direction. And in the ratio of the number of mortals on the earth, this plateau would inhabit 528,000 million souls. And this was not the 1,000th part of the number it could sustain. In fact, within and without. Tiffany, hey girl, hey. Patty said, "Such is Horati, O Jehovah, and yet there have been till now no spirits to come and inhabit it. Who can survey thy works, O Father? Who shall fear for the limit of thy handiwork?" Verathagna said, "And yet we shall find in the lowest Hadas spirits huddled together like bees in a hive." "And yet, wherefore, O chief, for is it not so with mortals also? They cluster together in cities and tribes, warring for inches of ground, whilst vast divisions of the earth lie waste and vacant. Fragapati said, "Is this not the sum of the darkness of mortals and of spirits in the lowest realms? They know not how to live. A spider or an ant is more one with the Creator than these." That might be our title for the day. Everything created doing what it's supposed to be doing except for human beings. Most of us anyway. Hopefully not me included the most, but the portion that is trying to do us right. I read that again. Verse 7. Fragapati said, "Is this not the sum of the darkness of mortals and of spirits in the lowest realms? They know not how to live. A spider or an ant is more one with the Creator than these." Next, they visited Zeridho, 6 diameters of the earth distant. Here they found a colony of 2,000 million spirits that had been founded by Osir 3,300 years before, but not the same people, but such as came up from the earth afterward. They had a god named Hoab, an atmospherian from the earth, 2,100 years, and he was upright and wise, and of good works most excellent, but knowing nothing of Ethera, had no ambition to rise thither, and his content and his content had visited itself on the colony, and they were contented also. And his content, maybe it's his content, yeah, and they were contented. Okay, I'm gonna read it again. Sorry. And his content had visited itself on the colony, and they were contented also. Fragapati said, "To remain here forever, is this the extent of thy desires, O Hoab?" And Hoab answered him, saying, "Yea, master, what more is life than to reach the highest place and remain there?" To which Fragapati said, "Is this the all-highest?" And Hoab said, "Yea, master, any place and condition is the all-highest, if man make it so. None can attain higher than I, no people higher than my people. We are freed from the earth and Hada, and we desire not to return thither, nor go to any other place." Fragapati said, "Let us walk a little, that I may see thy kingdom." Hoab consented, and they walked along, seeing the inhabitants lying at ease, some amusing themselves, weaving threads of light, and then unraveling them and weaving them over again, others playing with crystals and lenses and opaque and transparent elements, but no one doing anything for another, nor in fact needed they, for all were capable of doing for themselves. Now after they had traveled a while, Fragapati said, "Hast thou not, O Hoab, a desire to return to the plateau below thee, where the inhabitants are in misery and darkness, and bring them into thine own realm?" To which Hoab said, "Nay, master, let them shift for themselves." Okay, Hoab. If they gonna get up here, they gonna need to learn how to do it how we did it. "Nay, master, let them shift for themselves. Even if we help them up, they would be thankless. Nay, my doctrine is, man is the highest of all things. The elements are dumb, the worlds are many and wide." And after man is there's a reference number 7, which down at the bottom of the top says, "Man is the all highest." That's his thoughts. "Man is the highest of all things. The elements are dumb. The worlds are many and wide. Let man choose a corner for himself and settle there forever." Fragapati asked, "Because a man chooseth a corner, Is it necessarily his own? Joab said, our place was bequeathed us by our forefathers. Of course it is ours, and to remain so forever. Neither suffer we any other spirits to settle in our dominions. Being far away from the rest of the world, we are not much molested. Fragapati said, how came ye hither? Joab said, how came ye hither? Joab said, long ago there came a god hither named Osiris, bringing 6,000 million druhas up from the earth. With them he founded a colony here, with factories, colleges, hospitals, and all things necessary to enlighten people, giving them ample teachers. In the course of time, many of the inhabitants migrated away from this place, and it was almost depleted of its people. But the gods below sent new supplies of inhabitants, of which we are the second and third installments. So we inherited the place with all its factories and educationals and other places. Fragapati said, as ye were raised up by the gods of other places, would it not give ye joy to raise up others who are still in darkness? Joab said, nay, master, we are pure and refined. The atmosphere of druhas is unpleasant to us. They would vitate our own happiness, besides entailing toil and responsibilities upon us. Let me read that again. Nay, master, we are pure and refined. The atmosphere of druhas is unpleasant to us. They would vitiate. They would vitiate our own happiness, besides entailing toil and responsibilities upon us. We cannot mix with any people but the refined and holy. We take care of ourselves, let others do the same, and all will be well. I think if you poked him in the right spot, he might wig out on everybody. Because everything said this is nice and this is tight and this is right. This is how we do it here. Let somebody go put a wire hanger in his closet. We're gonna see Mommy Dearest come out of him. Trina, hey girl, hey. Let me read it again, verse 13. Fragapati said, as ye were raised up by the gods of other places, would it not give ye joy to raise up others who are still in darkness? Joab said, nay, master, we are pure and refined. The atmosphere of druhas is unpleasant to us. They would vitiate our own happiness, besides entailing toil and responsibilities upon us. We cannot mix with any people but the refined and holy. We take care of ourselves, let others do the same, and all will be well. Fragapati said, who thinkest thou I am, and my people with me? Joab said, visitors from some far-off realm who are either discordant with yourselves or bent to meddle in the affairs of other peoples. We have had visitors before, and we never grieved when they left us. To which Fragapati said, thou art strong in philosophy. Thou art strong in thy philosophy. Had no nation or people such ambition as this, there would be no content in the world. To be satisfied with one's own self and behavior is to be a god in fact. Let me just underline that. Uncle Nathaniel, greetings, sir. Okay, I'll read 15 over again. Thou art strong in thy philosophy. Had no nation or people such ambition as this, there would be no content in the world. To be satisfied with one's own self and behavior is to be a god in fact. Hadst thou nothing to fear from immigration coming to thy shore, or to fear from some new philosophy undermining thy long-established convictions, thou mightest indeed be the happiest of gods, and thy people the happiest of people. Joab said, true, thou perceivest wisely. Oh, that there was nothing to fear, nothing to dread forever. Then Fragapati said, and I declare unto thee, Joab, that condition can be attained. For I have seen kingdoms in heaven so fortified, and wert thou and thy people prepared to receive the sacred secrets pertaining thereto, I would most willingly unfold them before thee. Hoab said, Thou art a wise God. Tarry thou and teach us. Fragapati said, I am now on a journey and cannot remain longer, but on one condition. I will return hither and disclose these matters, so that nevermore shalt thou fear for immigration into thy country, nor for any philosophy which any man or God may teach. Exact a promise of secrecy from all thy people. Hoab said, It shall be done. And Fragapati and his host withdrew and departed out of that plateau, promising to return when notification had been served on his people. But Fragapati inspected the whole superficie and found it capable of educating and providing for 1,000 million spirits where... Hold on, let me say again. But Fragapati inspected the whole superficie and found it capable of educating and providing for 1,000 million spirits, whereas there were but 2,000 million in Hoab's kingdom, and they inhabited only a small corner of the plateau. Nevertheless, Hoab laid claim to the whole. After this, Fragapati descended to the next plateau, the first great plateau above the earth, called Aoasu. Aoasu. A-O-A-S-U. I think it's Aoasu. We're going to say Aoasu. After this, Fragapati descended to the next plateau, the first great plateau above the earth, called Aoasu, signifying land and sky world for the first spirit life after mortal death. Aoasu had its foundation on the earth, and it underlayeth. What? Underlayeth. Oh. Okay. Aoasu hath its foundation on the earth, and it underlayeth with mountains and valleys like the earth, having seas over the corporal seas, and the outer superficie of Aoasu is from 20 to 100 miles above the earth's surface, and it is habitable within and without, after the manner of all spirit worlds. But the first resurrections were within it and on the earth's surface, and the second resurrections mostly on its superficie, though all the atmospheric plateaus are also made for the second and third resurrections. On the roadway betwixt Aoasu and Zeredho, next descending, it was that Osiris established Vabraj, which was now so depleted of its people that Fragapati halted not to examine it, but proceeded to Aoasu direct. And it says, see plate 7, Ethera, atmosphere, and the earth. Okay, so let's find plate 7. Queen Israel, Grand Rising, sis. Okay, plate 7 is on page 159. Did we just pass that? Oh, yeah. A couple days ago. Okay. I'm going to show it to you. Let me read this again. Okay. Okay. On the roadway betwixt Aoasu and Zeredho, next descending, it was that Osiris established Vabraj, which was now so depleted of its people that Fragapati halted not to examine it, but proceeded to Aoasu direct. See plate 7. And plate 7 is Ethera, atmosphere, and the earth. I'm trying to understand. Let me show it to you. I'm trying to understand the picture. I'm about to read the little blurb under it. Okay, this is it right here. Y'all see it on? Okay, I think y'all both can see it now. Right here. Okay, I'm going to read this little blurb under it. It says, E, like the letter E 3 times. Ethera. All that lieth between the dotted line and the earth is atmosphere. What? The dotted line and the earth. Where's the earth? All right, let me finish reading. Ethera. All that lieth between the dotted line and the earth is atmosphere. Horati, highest, lower heaven, founded by Fragapati. Zeridho, second highest, lower heaven, founded by Fragapati. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, third lowest heavens, founded by Fragapati. These 7 were called the 7 heavenly mountains, also and known by the name Aosu. How is this? What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're supposed to be looking at this sideways? Wait, hold on. 4, 7. Oh, okay. What's throwing me off is ocean. Okay, hold on. Between the dotted line. Okay. What is that? China. Oh, yeah. Okay, I can see it. It's dark. Okay, China. What is that? Africa. Okay, I'm going to show you a picture again. Okay. Janie of Yah Shalom. Oh, great spirit, creator of all life. Fill us with your wisdom and truth. Okay, let me see. If y'all got the book, y'all can look at it real closely. Okay, hold on. Let me see if you two can see this. Hold on. Oh, y'all can't. Okay, I'm going to just have to hold it up a little bit. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, so this right here, you can say, if you're looking at a picture of the earth, imagine this would be the earth, but this bottom part of the earth or whatever is cut off. So you just got this part that's showing. So this right here is the earth. Everything between this dotted line and the earth are the heavens that they were talking about. Right here, if you can see closely, is some dark letters. This is Africa over here, and this is China. Hold on, did I get that right? Yeah, China. Okay, yeah, this side. All right. Rita, good morning, good morning. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Okay, so in here, you can see the words China, and over here, you can see the words Africa, but it looks like, maybe this looks like that because I'm looking at, okay, it looks like Africa is spelled in the proper, if we read in English, from left to right. But when I looked at it on the screen, everything seemed backwards. Okay, but if you look at the book, it actually is English reading left to right. Okay. Okay. So everything between this dotted line up here, Ethera, and between the earth are the heavens. So these right here are the numbers. I think it's 1 through 7. And then you have this right here, which is H. I'm going to read it again. Okay, so this is E. This is H. These are the numbers 1 through 7. And this is the earth. This is the ocean. This is Africa. And this is China. Or did I do that backwards? This is China. And this is Africa. Yeah, okay. So let me read under it again. Ethera. All that lieth between... Maybe I should read it like this. I'm going to get this together, y'all. Okay. Ethera. All that lieth between the dotted line and the earth is atmosphere. Okay, so this is the dotted line, and this is the earth. Hold on, y'all, this thing heavy. And this is the earth. So all that lies in between here is Ethera, right? Or the higher heavens. Okay. Horati, which is this line here, and you can see H and H here. Horati, the highest lower heaven, founded by Fragapati. F, which is this right here. F is Zeredho, second highest lowest heaven, founded by Fragapati. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which are these right here. The third lowest heavens founded by Fragapati. These 7 here were called 7 heavenly mountains and known by the name Ayosu. See chapter 6, verse 20. Whew, oh my gosh, that's heavy. Okay, chapter 6, verse 20. We ain't got the verse, no, did we? Yeah, we just read verse 20. Okay. Yeah, all of that verse 20 and it ended telling us to go look at that plate. Okay. Okay, so let me just read the whole verse 20 again. All right. After this, Fragapati descended to the next plateau, the first great plateau above the earth called Ayosu. Okay, those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 7 mountains of Ayosu. Okay. After this, Fragapati descended to the next plateau, the first great plateau above the earth called Ayosu, signifying land and sky world for the first spirit life after mortal death. So when you pass from here, those 7 mountains, you ascend there because that's the first level. It's weird because when it says levels, although you could see levels, it's kind of like going like, I don't know, maybe when you go to the first lowest heaven after you die, you enter into 1, and maybe you got to go all the way to 7 and then go to the next one. F? No, F comes after E. But you can't go to the highest lowest heaven, which would be E. Okay, so all of that we saw in that diagram is the lower heavens after the earth. So you have the lowest of the lower heavens, which is the 1 through 7, and then it goes to F, then to H, and then to E. A, B, C, D, E, F. Wait, what? Hold on. D. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. What? I don't know why they did the numbers this way. I mean, the letters this way. Because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then beside 7, you have D. Then going up a level to the second lowest heaven, you got F. Then you go up to the third highest heaven, you got H. And then you got, E for etheric. Maybe they did it. Hold on, H. I was about to say maybe they named it, they gave the letters based on what it's called, like E for ethera. Then you have H for Horasi, but you got F. F is Zaradho. So that theory is out the window. I don't know. Okay, so you got the earth, then you got the 1 through 7, then D, then F, then H, then E, right? And that's the extent of the lowest heavens, according to this diagram right here. In the cosmology and prophecy book, it gets into all other diagrams and how the earth look and stuff like. For the science head, we got a whole new thing to look into. Okay, let's go back. Okay, verse 20 on page 162 at the top. After this, Fragapati descended to the next plateau, the first great plateau above the earth called Ayosu, signifying land and sky world for the first spirit life after mortal death. Ayosu hath its foundation on the earth, and it underlayeth with mountains and valleys, like the earth, having seas over the corporal seas. And the outer superficie of Ayosu is from 20 to 100 miles above the earth's surface, and it is habitable within and without, after the manner of all spirit worlds. But the first resurrections were within it and on the earth's surface, and the second resurrections mostly on its superficie, though all atmospheric plateaus are also made for the second and third resurrections. On the roadway betwixt Ayosu and Zaredho, next descending. Zaredho is F. Next. Okay. On the roadway betwixt Aosu and Zeredho, next descending, it was that Osir established Vibraj, which was now so depleted of its people that Fragapati halted not to examine it, but proceeded to Aosu direct. And this is where we pause at. See plate 7, Ethera, atmosphere, and the earth. Here lie the mountains of morn and eve, and mountains of the moon and sun and stars, chief of which groups are, and forgive me ahead of time, I'm probably about to screw these names up. Chief of which groups are Ushidaho, that's a name, Ushidarina, Ereziphiah, Fraropa, Ezroa, Arizura, Tude, Bumya, Diota, Reodhita, Maza Saveo, Altair, a place of light inhabited by Hura, Lord of Vota, Irisho, Vata Gako, a place of ooze, signifying torments because of its darkness. Joanne, shalom, shalom. Did I say shalom to Audrey? Robin, shalom. Hey, everybody. Hey, girls, hey. Okay, verse 23. This group of mountains is 90 miles higher than the earth mountains of Japheth. That'll be good to know. This group of mountains is 90 miles higher than the earth mountains of Japheth. Japheth, remember, Japheth is what? What was Japheth, y'all? Is Japheth China? No, China. Japheth? I think, yeah, Japheth is China. Bohu, Africa. Shem, India. Oh, yeah, Japheth, I think, is China. Okay. This group of mountains is 90 miles higher than the earth mountains of Japheth. South of these are Adarana, Ayana, Isaka, Samya, Kanaka, Tefegra, Heo, Vara, and the double mountain Hamanakana. 8 ranges of the round mountains, Fravanku, the 4 peaks, the Vidwana. And after Kanaka Tefegraho is reference number 8. And that says down at the bottom, Kanaka Tefegraho. Okay, so it took out the GR and put a DR. Or it took out what it used to be DR in the previous edition. But here they replaced the D with a G. Okay, China. Thanks, Audrey. Okay, verse 24. These extend over the earth mountains of Shem and have an altitude above the earth of 100 miles. These are the oldest inhabited spirit worlds since the submersion of Pan, whose spirit worlds were carried up to a higher heaven, which hath since been called Horati. Extending east and west lie the group called Red Men's Group. Red Men, like men, M-E-N, Red Men's Group. Here's some more names, y'all. Bear with me. Azaka, Menaka, Vakhidraka, Akea, Tudhaka, Ish, Vakahaya, Dreo Shivis, Vale, Kerivale, Nahasmeo, Kaha Yuyu, Ature Kanhe, Kareye, which were the first places in heaven for colonizing the spirits of the Ihuan race.
You gotta get in heaven to speak those, bro. I don't know. Who is? I don't know.
He would have, yeah, you know, they had the beard. Whatchamacallit,
You
son.
know? Yeah.
I'm like, listen, Don't call them
up, Bob. I'm telling you that now, I'm messing up.
Y'all see how bad I did down there trying to read it to them, right? Why y'all even gonna ask me?
Right. I didn't name them, I don't know.
Okay, verse 26. The next group lieth to the west and south, which are Chinadava, Ihuna, Varya, Gamna, Achaia, Ashatimbana, Urin Yovadid Hake, Asna Hoveo, Ushuama, Utsa Gener Neo, Sayama Kahama, Sayamaka, Va Freyotoso, Va Freyo, Varusha, and Ua Sok Hail. To the south of this group are the towering eagles, which are Ijatara, Adhuta Vavata, Septi Me Vereneo, Septadata, Esna Voya, Karo Gakhavakakakeo. Tura Railsa.
Like, what girl, can you hurry get to this chapter?
Like, spit it out. The smack me in the back of the head.
Okay. You still got it wrong.
Look, y'all bear with me. We got a few more. Oh, look, I'm sweating. Bar Royo, Baro Kreyama, Freya Poa, Udraya, Useyoa Kahava, Re Veo, all of which groups were named by the gods and lords of all the intermediate worlds during the time of Yeha language. That's what they call this, Yeha language. During the time of Yeha language amongst mortals, being named after the amalgamation of the tribes of Ehines, every syllable in former ages being one tribe, whereof the gods have made this testimony to endure from before the time of Fragapati and Zarathustra, wherein it may be proven to mortals and spirits that this division of the spirit world was revealed to man at the time the language was carried to its highest compounding. We almost done. We're going to pause after this chapter, y'all. Look, verse 28. It's 30 verses. We at 28. Besides these mountains in the lowest heavens, there were 4,000 others, the names of which were duly registered.
Which was not about to be read.
Which was not about to be read. Besides these mountains in the lowest heavens, there were 4,000 others, the names of which were duly registered in the libraries of heaven by Thor and his sub-god.
This was behind Dad's box.
Oh, I've been looking for that. Thank you.
It's behind my box.
Yeah, they must have knocked it over there when they was in here playing. Okay. Hold on. But the mountains here mentioned above were those chiefly where, at the time after Apollo, the false gods and false lords set up kingdoms of their own, and the names of the mountains are also the names they espouse unto themselves. Fragapati said, Alas, these heavens, who can measure the vanity of men and angels that cut loose from the Great Spirit, endeavoring to set up kingdoms on their own account? Their places perish, sorrowful histories. Behold, these vagrant spirits strolling about or hiding amidst the ruins, ashamed of their rags and nakedness, prowling around, millions of them, hundreds of millions. Varinthragna said, I thank thee, O Jehovah, that I am once again amongst the lowest, Keep me, O Father, amidst this darkness, till I shall never again forget the lowest of my brothers and sisters. I behold thy wisdom, O Jehovah, but for these cycles of time, in the dawns of which thy Etherians can come down to witness the bounding in hell, they would themselves forget the horrors. Oh, that thou would not suffer me to rest till I have helped to raise them up to know thee and to be a glory within thy works. And that is the end of chapter 6. And we're going to pause right here because we're at the 40-minute mark.
Intermission.
Would you say intermission?
Intermission,
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Boy, I tell you, I be having a problem pronouncing some of these words, y'all. I'm probably a little illiterate, but I hope in my daily reading I'll get a little bit smarter. I heard, who was that? The guy full of wisdom that put music. Somebody put music to his word. Les Brown, right? Les Brown. He said 20 minutes of reading every single day will offset the poorest education.
Yeah.
You know, thank y'all, I grew up in a house where my mom and my dad were both bookworms, and that just kind of flowed on to all four of their children. But yeah, even if you like drop out of school or whatever, if you read, you literally open yourself up to a whole new world, right? Literally. And I found that to be true. And I repeat that to my children probably at least once a week when they want to give me flack about reading. Why do I have to read this? Because 20 minutes of reading every single day will offset the poorest education. Right? You know, so I'm like, Father, help me in the places that I lack while we're raising up our children and teaching them. You know, because sometimes they get probably more breaks than a public school system would give them, you know. But when you homeschooling, really, for real, you only need a couple hours. I mean, unless you're really trying to keep to the whole format of what the public schools do. Y'all see me, my attention span is about as long as a squirrel chasing a nut till it see another nut.
And that's what she be doing, chasing the nuts.
Hey. Yeah. I'm going to deal with you in a second. All right, y'all.
Kids now.
Let me fix my glasses. Okay, y'all. To the meditation book. Focus. All right, page 171. Meditation technique number 4. The Supreme Self-Meditation based on the hieroglyphic text of the destruction of humankind. Okay. So it has him sitting in lotus position on the meditation style, right? Okay. All right, babe. All right. Be safe. Y'all dropping the truck off?
I'm going to drop it off after we finish up what we're doing today.
Okay, as soon as you get there, I need you to send me those hours.
Oh, to the well, Jonathan probably. I'm going to send it to you right now.
Okay, and also, I need a quote price.
Call me when you finish up.
Okay. Okay, to begin, be seated or lie down in a relaxed pose. See diagram provided for the location of the energy centers. That was what we looked at yesterday, the energy centers going up and down the body. Visualize yourself gaining cosmic energy. See it accumulating in the body. Place your concentration on the first energy center at the base of the spine as you inhale. See the energy tapping that spot. See it again rising through the other energy centers, going up to the 6th energy center where the pineal gland is situated. And that's also called the uraeus, right? The uraeus, the pineal gland, third eye, seat of the teacher, seat of the soul, right? Where the teacher sits, where you sit to listen to the teacher, right? Okay. I'll start again. To begin, be seated or lie down in a relaxed pose. See the diagram provided for the location of the energy centers. Let me just show you the diagram again, just in case. I posted it yesterday, so y'all can go to the community section. These are the energy centers with the root chakra or the root energy center, right? The base, at the base of the spine. You can sit up. You can sit up. Most of the pictures you see of meditating, they're sitting down in this position. And you just imagine a light still starting at the base, going all the way up to the crown, right? Okay. Be seated or lie down in a relaxed pose. See the diagram provided for the location of the energy centers. Visualize yourself gaining cosmic energy. See or getting a download by getting cosmic energy, meaning the download from Yah, right? Imagine Yah downpouring, downloading, filling you with his energy, his wisdom. Imagine that, right? Okay, don't let the words throw you off. Don't get caught up in terms. Visualize yourself gaining cosmic energy. See it accumulating in the body. Place your concentration on the first energy center at the base of the spine as you inhale. See the energy tapping that spot. Then see it again, rising through the other energy centers, going up to the sixth energy center where the pineal gland is situated, the uraeus. Exhale and see the energy go up and back down to the first center. Inhale and repeat the exercise. Feel the increasing levels of peace develop. And the Egyptian word for peace is hotep, right? Or some people say hetep. Without the vowels is HTP. If you put vowels in, HOTEP or HETEP. Hotep, hetep. It means peace. If you hear somebody want to get super spiritual with you, Egyptian style, hotep, my brothers, my sisters. What? What you mean? Peace, my brothers, my sisters. Okay. Meditation technique number 5. The highest form of meditation, identification with the divine. Nuk Pu Ra, I am God. Nuk Pu Nuk, I am the self. This meditation appears in the ancient Egyptian myth of the destruction of evil men and women, which was presented in part 2. The highest form of meditation is maintaining an awareness of the supreme truth which transcends all other realities. This truth is that God is the underlying reality behind all things, and most importantly, that the innermost reality of your own heart is none other than the absolute supreme self, which transcends time, space, thought, and the ego. The meditation presented below outlines a format for a formal sit-down meditation in which the meditator is directed to see himself or herself as the supreme being, or Ra. This is a most powerful visualization for meditation practice. As stated earlier, the oldest known formal meditation instruction comes from the ancient Egyptian story of the destruction of evil men and women. The following lines of scripture are from the original text translation. The meditation is to be practiced after listening to and having gained an understanding of the teachings presented in the myth. Alicia, yeah. Quote, whosoever shall recite the words here written shall perform the ceremonies which are to be performed when this book is being read. And they shall make their position in a circle which is beyond them, and their 2 eyes shall be fixed upon themselves. All their members shall be composed, relaxed, motionless, and their steps shall not carry them away from the place of meditation. Whoever among men shall recite these words shall visualize themselves as Ra on the day of his birth, and his possessions shall not become fewer, and his house shall never fall into decay, but shall endure for 1,000,000 eternities. End quote. Number 1, posture and focus of attention. Posture is one of the main components of the meditation practice. The text describes a sitting position within a circle. Then it instructs that there should be a focusing of the mind between the eyebrows. This area is also known as the 6th energy consciousness center, where the uraeus serpent, the eye of Ra, the Ujat, the Eye of Haru, are located. So remember, when you reach this level of your meditation and overall walking in life, you see the kings or the pharaohs, they wear this serpent crown, and that crown with the serpent on it is positioned right there, right? The seat of the serpent, the seat of the teacher, right? The wisdom comes from here. That serpent right there, it represents the Uraeus, the third eye, right? Right there. They wear that crown, letting you know they're illuminated. And they've actually done the work to cleanse all of their energy centers, right? And and those who wear those, they ran the risk by other people who hadn't done the work. They ran the risk of being worshipped and called gods, right? And that's how you get some of these other myths and things happening where people actually began to worship people, because those people would seem supernatural, and they were able to do some supernatural things because they did the work to clean up their vehicle and bring themselves in line and in tune with Yah, or the great spirit, the great creator, right? Not that it was to be that way. We should never be worshiping them. We should be cleaning up our lives so we could also get to that place, right? They're no higher or no more important than we are. They just chose to be dedicated and subdue their flesh and get in control of it and let their spirit, drive the vehicle instead of letting their flesh drive their spirit, right? They just did the work. Okay. This area is also known as the sixth energy consciousness center, where the Uraeus serpent, the Eye of Ra, and the Ujat, the Eye of Haru, are located. All members of the body, the arms, legs, etc., should be motionless. Posture. Be seated in a comfortable posture. You may create a circle figure in which to sit, or simply visualize that you are seated within a circle. See yourself at the center of the circle, which comprises the sun disk of Ra, and see yourself as the source of all that is. So the sun disk of Ra in hieroglyphics, and they have it here, it would be the circle with the dots in the middle, or like the circle with a tiny dot, but it looks like a circle with a tiny circle within a bigger circle. And I'll show you. You probably might not be able to see it, but right there. Hold on. I'm going to show it to Facebook first. Uh-oh. It might be blurry. Okay. YouTube. Right there. So that represent, when you see that sun disk, that represent Yah, the great spirit, the almighty, cosmic universe, the great spirit. Right. Okay, y'all get it. See yourself at the center of the circle, which comprises the sun disk of Ra, and see yourself as the source of all that is. Number 2, words of power. The papyrus instructs that after having read and recited the story, one should assume a specific posture and adopt a specific visualization. The story in the papyrus, which is destruction of humankind, is as follows. Quote, Ra, and in parentheses after Ra, it has supreme being. Ra, supreme being, created the world and human beings. After many years, they became arrogant and spoke evilly about him. They forgot about his greatness and about their own origins. Ra decided to punish them for their egoism and sinful behavior, and so he sent out his eye of destruction in the form of Hetharu to kill all sinners. He then recalled his eye before it could kill all human beings, and then he retreated to heaven, where he traverses in the form of the sun and installed his vicar to watch over the world during the night in the form of the moon. End quote. And that's the story summed up, right? Thus, Ra is the creator of this entire universe, and it is sustained by him at all times. This supreme self, Ra, is the same essence which abides in the heart of every human being. This is confirmed by the ancient Egyptian book of Coming Forth by Day in chapter 17. Therefore, having this knowledge, one should understand that one's higher self is in reality not the limited and transient human personality, but the supreme self. Therefore, one who understands this teaching should see himself or herself as that very same self. The words of power which affirm this understanding are Nuk Pu Ra, and that means I am Ra, the supreme divinity. And he has a little asterisk at the bottom of number 2 that says, for a complete version of the story, see the Asarian Resurrection by OAHSPE. That's a whole book. You can get that on Amazon. I got that too. So all of these stories, he actually has separate books for every one of them. And depending on where you were born in the world, you would learn one of these stories. And although the stories have different characters, or you have like Set and Haru, then you have all the other different names. There were different stories, but every single story gave you the same exact principles from the beginning all the way to the end, just like they did the same thing with Christianity. They all go through like this flood type story, and then man being raised up, saved, all of this. But it's different characters depending on where you're at in the world. Same thing in Egypt. But in Egypt, they didn't just have one story. It was the same exact story told over multiple different times with different characters. And for each story that they did in Egypt, he wrote a book about it, gave you the story, expounded on the story, and gave you the principles. So I thought it would be good to get all of them. That's why I got this whole library. And as I'm going through all of them, I'm learning each individual story. And as I go through them, I'm realizing the principles are absolutely the same. The story I grew up with was the story in the Bible, right, with JC and everything. But the principles, as I'm reading, I was like, oh, holy crap. It's the same exact thing. They just changed the names, right? But it's not they give you the story to help you understand the underlying principles. But somehow, and it's not just those who are raised in Christianity, we become attached to the stories like they were really real. And then now we fighting over the stories, and we fighting over the name of the creator and the savior and all of this stuff. And those are side roads. And whoever taught you they must have left class early and didn't finish teaching the students, because now the students are stunted with the story, right? Like that. The students are stunted with the story. Hold on. That might be our title. Now the students have become stunted in your growth with the story, and they can't get past the story. Most of them are unable to pull out the underlying principles, which is the whole purpose that the story was being taught. Just like if you're trying to tell children, you can't sit there and rattle off facts to children. You give them children's stories where they can understand. Now, as their children, as they grow, they'll remember the story, even though they may not be able to recite to you the principles that you gave them in a story. That won't kick in until a little bit later on, as they begin to develop and they start growing and learning a little bit more independence from mom and dad and from teachers, right? And guardians. Those principles won't begin to shine through the stories until they run into issues where the principle that they need from this story will start knocking on the door to their heart. The story will start coming up. Oh, right? That's how it happened for me, right? And so I realized it's not about the stories, but we got to get past the fighting over the stories and throwing on all the different color garbs. Well, I'm a this. Well, I'm a that. And use the who. Well, you done stole my identity. I'm like, y'all, it's all stories. Y'all, everybody's still in pre-K here, learning the children's story and fighting over the children's story, right? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Some people will catch that. Number 3, visualization. Visualization is the next important element in this meditation instruction. The form of visualization to be practiced here is called ritual identification with the divine self. Ritual identification falls under the category of yoga devotion. As explained throughout this text, the ordinary form of identification people have, that is, their idea of who they are, is an egotistic notion based on ignorance of the deeper self within. Let me read that again. Listen to this. Visualization is the next important element in this meditation instruction. The form of visualization to be practiced here is called ritual identification with the divine self. Ritual identification falls under the category of yoga of devotion. As explained throughout this text, the ordinary form of identification people have, that is, their idea of who they are, is an egotistic notion based on ignorance of the deeper self within. This form of visualization should be practiced at all times as a perpetual mindful exercise, as well as when practicing a formal meditation session. In this meditation, the aspirant is directed to identify himself or herself with the Supreme Being in the form of birth. This form is known as Khepri, Khepri. Turn it down, Pooh. This form is known as Khepri and symbolizes the emerging spiritual birth of the divine within the human heart. A little bit more. Therefore, after performing the necessary ablutions, ablutions, ablutions. Therefore, after performing the necessary ablutions of the mind and body, meditate thus. Visualization. See yourself as the transformative power which gives life to all things. See yourself as the sustainer of creation. See yourself as the being into which the creation dissolves in order to give way to a new cycle of creation. You are not just a body, but you encompass the entire universe. This is your true possession. Even though the world may come into existence, decay, and die, you do not decay or die, and neither are you born. You are the immortal, transcendental self. You are the beginning, middle, and end. You have existed from immeasurable time and will exist for eternity. You are one with the absolute. And that is where we will pause at 102. This next one, I'm going to turn it down. I'm almost done. Weathering the... Oh, yeah, that's good. Okay. We'll pause right here because the next section is called Meditation as Medicine for Peace, Health, and Spiritual Enlightenment. Okay. Yeah, so we'll get to this tomorrow. This is good. Y'all, Brad, we about done. Ooh, I better pull my other book out. We might be finished with this by like Monday. Ooh, what we read? What I say we was reading next? Initiates of the Flame. Okay. All right, we'll pause right here. Y'all, I'm super excited. I'm super excited about this. Okay. Hold on. And I forgot to post the book list. I'm sorry. I be trying to do everything. Plus all the stuff we doing and closing and then walking away from the closing and stuff. Y'all, things is crazy right now, right? So we're going to be in our holding cell for a couple more days, probably a couple more weeks at this point. I have to tell y'all the full story on what happened on the theater walkthrough. Because we were supposed to close yesterday. Let me tell you something. If you are purchasing a property, especially with land, right? Purchase it don't matter. House, wherever you're getting it at. I'm glad we listened to the wisdom of different people on the land, right? Visited multiple times. Like while we were waiting to close, we've been out there at the property, I want to say at least 7 times, right? Walking the property in and out a couple times. The back door was left unlocked in the sunroom and everything. So we go walking through the property. Hello, somebody in here? Like all this stuff, right? And so we let them know, hey, the property door was unlocked. We just happened to show up just to look at it again, the outside, and checking all the doors, because we got an offer on this property. We want to make sure it's in the condition that it was when we put the offer on it, right? So visited a couple times while it's raining. after it rained, right? Now, granted, it's country and it's a land that's like 5 acres, right? And when you go out to the country, it's expected that you will have snakes, some little bit of wildlife or whatever. But the property is pretty much enclosed in by barrier of trees and fences along the property, right? So we wouldn't see much wildlife, but a couple snakes freaked us out. You know, we city dwellers, right? I ain't lived in the country since I was a baby girl, and then it wasn't full time. That was just when we was visiting my grandma in South Carolina, right? So a couple snakes kind of freaked us out. We identified, what kind of snake is that? Is that poisonous?
And
it's a rat snake. Something like a rat snake. Rat snakes show up if there's rats, right? And so then we found out because it was a working farm, right? And so in like the stable, there was some hay that was left from the previous people that were there, and we found out like hay, it molds. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking hay is just kind of like grass. No, they use it for different things, they said, and it will mold. They feed it to their livestock and all this. I was like, oh, they said, but if it's not being used, you need to get it off your property because it will attract rats, and then you're going to have a major snake problem. So we went through the barn and we saw that the hay and everything, we kind of inspected it the first time, and it looked like they probably came and did a sweep, killing all the cobwebs and all that stuff. So, oh, okay, good. But the next few times we went back, we realized there's a massive spider problem. Okay, it's their habitat. It's kind of like outside and everything, but the snakes showing up, seeing a couple snakes out there and they're passed out, screaming, taking off running. My husband laughing at me, talking bad about me. So he almost stepped on a huge rat snake, running his mouth, talking on the phone to his mom and daddy. Yeah. And then he almost during there stepped on a huge rat snake and it darted off. You should have seen him taking off like, pew. Y'all ever seen Speedy Gonzalez? I was cracking up laughing and he hollering at the kids, get from over there, get from over there. So I'm like, ooh, did we really think this through? Is we really ready for country life, right? And so, but here's the thing. When we took my mom out there, we went and walked the property. She was looking, she was like, oh, Pam, what's that hole on the ground? I'm like, what is that? Why is that coming up like something and dug down or something dug out of the ground? She said, you might want to check into that. I was like, is that a mole? She said, maybe not a mole, maybe a gopher. I don't know. But it was only like a couple. Okay, we can deal with a couple holes, right? After that time, we went back today to do the walkthrough. Not only, there was like a small leak in the house that they said they had fixed, but it looked like it had been jimmy rigged by somebody else. I'm like, okay, they should have got a professional out here. Like, we doing the final walkthrough. Like, we signed to Monroe at 3:30. So we doing this and we checking everything, right? It had rained. The fifth time we went out there, it had rain, and we noticed a little more of those holes out of the ground, but not, and we weren't out there that long. We're just kind of doing a quick walkthrough, just looking, checking. We rode the neighborhood, checking out the neighbors and stuff, making sure nothing creepy. I mean, we was out there early, and we was out there late night. See, I was like, okay, it's pretty quiet, all is well, because we got 5 kids, and then our oldest baby with his 3 kids, grandbabies, like, we're gonna be here for a while. We got to really check this out. This is a big investment, right? So there was a few more holes in the ground. So, okay, we call Terminex or Orkin or something. Get them come do, we'll probably pay a little bit of money for that. We can deal with that. But the last time we went out there, when we was doing a walkthrough, it rained real good. And mind you, it was like, we agreed on this property and everything. Like, Father, let everything come through. But if something ain't right, something that we're not seeing, and something that they're not revealing, because Virginia is a state where it's like, you don't ask, you don't tell, right? And so they don't have to disclose anything to you that you don't ask them a question about purchasing land. And they do the same thing with the cars, right? So it rained real good. I'm like, let's just go out there one more time before, right? We went out there, y'all. Y'all know what tryptophobia is? Oh my God. Tryptophobia is when you have people who have fear of holes. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say I have tryptophobia, but I think it's really disgusting to look at. It's almost like looking at a honeycomb, like spread out all over the place. Right, and it's like a bunch of little holes. So when we went back to do the walkthrough, it rained real good. Y'all, when I tell y'all, yes, baby girl.
I told them something.
What do you want to tell them?
I need to go to the
What do you want to tell them? Can I finish my little bit of story? Because I'm like almost done. I got to tell them about why we... Okay, go ahead and tell them. Hurry up, girl. Hurry up. Tell them. Tell them so I can finish my story because we got to end the video.
Yeah. My mom actually stepped on the snake.
I almost stepped on the snake too, right? No, but that snake was dead. I think it had shedded his skin or whatever. But I did. It was too much. Look, okay. So it ran real good. We out there doing a walkthrough, and after we went through the inside of the house, I said, yeah, no, we can't sign off on this. They said this was going to be done. It's not done. I said, and this is a hazard. I said, directly under this leak down here from this pipe, all they had to do was replace it. They said they replaced it, but it looked like they Jimmy Rig patched it up. We ain't going for this, because what's going through my head was this. I grew up hearing my mama say, now, forgive me if anybody's here that's not black, right? But somehow we talk like this. But my mama had this thing. She said, because my mama, she like, you know what, take it to the people that are the professionals. I want this done the right way. Give me a warranty, because if something go wrong, she said, I want y'all to come back out here and fix what messed up, right? And if my warranty about to die out, I can renew it. I'll renew it if I have the opportunity. All that, right, will get replaced. That's my mama's thinking. And I just grew up like that. I'm like, go ahead, girl. My mom actually what?
There was a spider too.
Yeah, it was guys, look. There was a huge tarantula-looking spider in that same room where the leak was, right? So the leak was right over a power outlet, and it was dripping on a power outlet. I was like, that is a massive hazard. They could literally, because something happened, spark throughout the electric in the whole house. Like, we're at 30-day mark, closing. And what this should have been done, like we told them about this when we did the first walkthrough. Why is this still doing it? And they said they had it replaced. No, you didn't. You had somebody come in here and Jimmy rig it, because you know how you use the PVC pipe and you got the purple stuff. It could have been a new pipe, but it looked like the same exact pipe to me. It looked like they probably untwisted the pipe, put some more of the little sealing up there and put it back. And we know they're not a professional, because you dripped some of that purple goo on the paint job and you tried to wipe it off, and now it's a purple stain under the pipe where the pipe is still dripping on its electrical box. And there was a freaking huge tarantula spider which was in the room sitting in the corner. Realtor running out the house. She said, yeah, I wanted to wait for you guys. We need to see something. We love our realtor. She was like, listen, this is your money. You have to live here. She said, we can walk away. And so we thought about it all the way through. But that was a huge issue, right? And she said the other part, they were getting really antsy because they really ready to close, like right now. And our realtor and our mortgage, and they said, we don't work for them. They can walk away if they want to. They said, but we work for you. We want to make sure you get the best deal. They say, if you're having second thoughts about the property, you let us know now, because we'll just find another property. And we was like, oh, we love the land. We already, the pool is there and everything. The land was like, oh my gosh, the cookout's like, I got stuff in carts and stuff, saving it for after the closing date when we're going to get this land done, clear out some stuff, all this parties at the Murphys, right? And I'm like, at this point, it's really, we dealing with our ego. We didn't prepare it. We like, yo, listen, but it's like, Father, if something is happening that we don't see, that they're not telling us about, like, let us know, because we're not about to do this. And then I ain't gonna say we would be stuck here, but we ain't about to pay the IRS no capital gains charges for leaving before the 2-year mark, because if we get it and sell it right out, we're going to get a capital gain, and then we're going to have to pay them taxes on that. To whereas if it's our primary residence for 2 years and we lived in it, we get that $500,000 credit for doing married joint for a property that we sell. It's like, I don't even want to have to deal with that if we don't have to. If that means we just need to suck it up and go find another property, that's what we're going to need to do. And I still ain't told y'all why I even brought up the tryptophobia. Here's why I was like, I cannot do this. Literally hours away, less than 24 hours away from signing the contract and being handed the keys. The yard, y'all remember them little holes I told you about? My mom said, oh, it's probably Gopher holes. Well, okay, we can call Orkin or Terminate, because something coming through the land. After we came out the house, when we walked the outside, y'all, when I say the front yard, when I say there was a Gopher hole over every single part of the front yard. And the front yard is massive. It's sitting on, the house is sitting back a little bit. So there's like this huge front yard, right? Every single portion of the front yard was covered in gopher holes all over the land. I wanted to, you know how, I was like, I wanted to just like, wigged out. I'm like, what is this? I said, I can't do this. We gotta go right now. We don't want this house anymore. Let the gophers have it. Let's say, Diane, this is it. We can't do this house anymore. Forget the pool, forget the trees, forget the parties and the summer holiday. I was like, we can't do the gopher holes. So now we have labeled that property the gopher house. Y'all, when I say it was in the front yard, it wasn't in the front yard, just in the front yard. There were holes everywhere, going down in. Some, it looked like they came up out of the ground. So when you come up out of the ground, there's these mound. I should post some pictures.
And
Maybe I
house
won't.
Look horrible.
I don't want to wig y'all out. My husband got the pictures, and I hate even scrolling through looking. I was like, look at this. What is this? They did not disclose that this was like the house belonged to the Gophers. Is this why they moved out? Is this why the house has been vacant for you? Is this why? Is the Gopher reason the problem? I was like, I'm so glad we visited this property multiple times, like literally. And I think that was just an act of divine providence that it rained the way it did when we decided we was going to go out there one more time, right? And we do the final walkthrough. Let's check everything. It wasn't just in the front. Them Gopher holes were in the back. In the back, there's a portion of the land that's fenced in, but everything behind it as well belongs to us. And I was like, I can't. You just go double check. I said, the front yard is enough for me to walk away. He said, they're everywhere. All in the backyard. All behind. I said, let's go right now. Forget the sign off, the walkthrough. We are not doing this. I said, I would probably have a heart attack and die that night, you know. But I ain't speaking it on myself. But forgive me. But I said, I can't do this. I cannot do this. I don't have tryptophobia. I said, but this is absolutely disgusting. I said, we would have to pay massive money to get rid of this problem. And then they'll probably just push it out from our property for a little while because all that land around us, and they probably end up coming back. I don't want to deal with that. We're not dealing with this. So we was like, we'll go back to our cell. We'll go back into Babylon for a little bit till we find another property. So our day yesterday was pretty exciting. About darn near grossed out. I'm just like, look, my mama said, may have turned out to be the money pit. Yeah, y'all seen the movie Money Pit? Yeah, it would have been a money pit just it turned out to be a money pit. Yo, I'm just like, I ain't never seen nothing this disgusting in my life. You know, so I'm just like, like, forget the ego. The ego is out the door because we made plans. James' parents, you know, because his parents are older. We was like, we got this little, it's like a little red barn, but we was going to have that remodeled, gutted and remodeled. It was going to be a mother-in-law suite, you know, and we're going to actually going to bring them here to live. Like all that. It was like, look, y'all going to have to stay in Illinois because we is not going to this house anymore. And they were cracking up listening to James explain what happened when we was doing the final walk. That's absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're going back to the hotel. Let's go right now. Burn the paper. This house ain't good for nothing but the file. I was like, maybe it's me. Maybe this is a part of country life. I was like, but that is not a problem. I was like, we got a lot of problems we run into, but we're not going to choose to take on this problem. Absolutely not. Let's find another property. So we viewed 2 more properties yesterday. I was like, we got to go. Nope. Not today. Look, Jen said you definitely would have not had peace living with those gopher holes. Look, and I watched some videos on people dealing with gopher holes. And their land was wasted. We was sitting on 5 acres, right? And they had just little cuts in maybe like a half an acre, quarter of an acre. And they had issues with gophers. And my garden, that would have been non-existent. You know, they would have been pulling down, tearing up everything. I was like, nope, absolutely not. This is a divine sign from the Creator himself Because our prayer was like, if anything, it's like, Father, because we about to sign. If there is something we have not seen, I said, because we about, you know how much we this house is. We not about to do this. You know, some things we can deal with, we can take care of ourselves. But things that will really throw us out of balance or cause us to be upside down after we've done so much work for so long to get where we are today, we don't want to just be throwing all that money right out the window, flushing it down the toilet. And oh my G, them gopher holes was a sign from the Almighty. All right, y'all. So enough of my shenanigans in our story. If my husband was still here, he'd probably be adding to this story. Yo, it was too much. We couldn't. We were super excited. The kids was like, well, we just found another house with another pool. I was like, well, if it's enough land back there, we just put our own pool in. So we seal property. It don't have a pool, but the backyard is definitely enough space. We're like, first order of business, we have to get the pool installed. So, yeah. And we don't want to do like above ground pool, you know. So, but yeah. So the kids went with us, and they was like, well, we're kind of sad that we don't have the koi pond, because it's a whole koi pond and stuff, and every time we go out there, the kids is running right to the koi pond, right? It was like, oh yeah, I done looked up koi fish and everything, you know, so they out there playing in the water, because there's frogs and stuff out in there now, so they, you know, got sticks and the pool things, was playing with the frogs, and I was like, stop doing that. I said, that's horrible, you're not going to torture animals. Scooping up the frogs out the koi pond and tossing them, you know, I was like, they would have had a ball out there. We absolutely loved it, but not today. Gotta find something else. All right, y'all. So enough of my shenanigans and our as the world turns. It is Friday. Thank y'all for hanging out. It is June the 3rd, 2022, day 125 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets. Under the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1143. We read pages 160 through 164 in OAHSPE, and we read pages 171 through 174 in the meditation book. Thank y'all for hanging out today. May y'all bless you. Remember, the Sabbaths for this moon cycle have rotated to Tuesday, so we will be here Saturday and Sunday, right? And we can definitely go over the time because we got time. But if you got to go to work, people. All right, so with that being said, I love you. May y'all bless you in all that you do. And if you're having, if you purchase a property or something, if you're having second guesses, ask Yah to show you what's not being physically shown to you. May He bring to light all those things that are hiding and lurking in the darkness that other people don't know about, but they refuse to tell you because they think they're going to get over on you, right? So may the light of Yah guide you always in all that you do, right? And shine the light on the dark places so you can keep steady on your path without stumbling. I love y'all. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow bright and early, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.
Bye. And subscribe.
And subscribe. Hey, Ann, girl. Bye.